Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our 10th webinar of the TAM R&D webinar series. And the topic for today's webinar is multi-cloud management and what is new in vROPs 8.1. So vROPs 8.1 got released in March 2020, and it has a lot of new features, enhancements, and capabilities, which Mohit will run us through today. So we have Mohit Kataria, who will be delivering this webinar. He's a group product manager, vROPs in CMU in VMware. Mohit has been working with VMware since more than 10 years now. We also have John, who has joined us today from Armenia. John is the product owner of vROPs. He's the panelist today, and we will be monitoring the Q&A window collectively. Yeah. So before we start, just want to set up some basic ground rules. We are recording this webinar, so if you want to view this again, get in touch with your respective times, get the recording, or if you want to send it to your colleagues who are not able to join, do reach out to your TAMs for that. We will also try and have 5 minutes of Q&A in the end, where you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly to Mohit and John. But if you have questions in between, you can always use the Q&A window at the bottom to put your questions, and John and me would be monitoring the Q&A. Yeah, so I think we are good. We can start. Over to you, Mohit.
Thanks, Nitin. And thanks to all who have joined today. It's good to see such a good participant list, more than 50 people. Thanks a lot for dialing in. Today, what we are going to talk about primarily is around the whole multi-cloud management that we have in the CMBU, and how we in the vROPs team looking at the operational part of it, how to operationalize your data centers that you are running, right? And with that, I'll just share that this is a very standard disclaimer that you might have seen in some of our earlier presentations also. And the reason being, when we talk about what is already just released, right, 1 month back, while we talk about that, we will be talking about roadmap as well. And at times, your questions are related to what we are going to work. So it has certain information which is future looking, as well as some things which are work in progress. So just a standard disclaimer before we start. And most of this information is confidential. You guys are TAM customers. That's why we are showing it to you. And we are doing these TAM customer roundtables all across the globe. And this is like 5th in series. And I'm really delighted to have it for all the India customers from here. With that, our primary goal, the North Star for multi-cloud management that we have in CMBU, is that we want to create the solutions that make cloud complexity invisible for you guys, so that you can focus on your transformation of the business rather than focusing on running your infrastructure. So that complete complexity that is there in running your clouds, that we want to take away from you. We just want to make the products very simple, where the clouds are easy to deploy as well as easy to manage. And that is where we strive for all the products. This is not only related to vROPs, it's all the products that we create in CMBU. Other products being VRNI, VRA, as well as some parts of cloud health and stuff that we do. So from that perspective, all of the products which are required for running your infrastructure, we want to make them as simple as possible for you. How do we do it? For us, it actually doesn't matter what kind of cloud you're running, because what we believe is that you should have a choice of running your workloads on any of the clouds that you want to run on. It can be a private data center, it can be a third-party managed data center, or it may be a hybrid cloud like VMC, which is VMware Cloud on AWS, or it is maybe these are the edge devices which are running, or in the end it might be your public clouds like AWS, Azure, and GCP, right? And all of that, what we are doing is we are believing, we believe that there is a cloud management that can be provided, and that is what we are providing using our hybrid cloud APIs. What exactly in this hybrid cloud management is that whether you have to manage your network, you can use NI products or the network inside. If you have to manage infrastructure using logs, you have VRLI into the mix. If you want to deploy your clouds, you have VRA. If you have to operationalize it, you have vROPs. So that complete management we provide, and on top of it, you have in parallel, you have the public clouds, and all of that management layer we provide you through the cloud ops. And that is where we are working on. So far, you might have seen lots of our products which are on-prem, all four of them, basically VRA, vROPs, VRLI, as well as VRNI. And the thing is, the way we are providing you the choice, or we let you use your clouds the way you want to run your workload. Similarly, we provide you the choice of picking up even the management plane, where exactly you want to use or run your management uh, infrastructure. That also we provide you the complete flexibility, whether on-prem or SaaS. We already had VRA cloud, VRLI cloud, as well as VRNI cloud. And now we have vROPs cloud also available to you. And I'll be talking more about it. We released it last month only, few weeks back. The team was working really hard since last 1.5 years to make it available to you. And I'll be talking a lot about it because it's new, and it is the beauty of it is exactly in parity with what you get in on-prem. The similar thing you can do on cloud. So here, what we are providing is, it's your choice whether you want to run the management plane on your own, or you want to hand it over to VMware to run it for you, and you just take care of the business that you need to take care and transform. With that, our core philosophy or the core functionalities of vROPs don't change. We still have, and we are enhancing all of those functionalities, those four pillars that we have, or the four tenets, the way we call it, uh, uh, from the continuous performance optimization perspective and capacity and cost management perspective. You can actually run your migration what if scenarios. You can figure out whether this particular application or the project you should run on-prem, or you should take it to the cloud. Where will it be the most cost effective? Even in the data centers that you own, which are in various countries, you can actually figure out where exactly it should go so that it's cheaper for you. All that analysis is available, as you know, in vROPs. From there, the third pillar that we have is app-aware intelligent remediation, which is mostly all of the monitoring, troubleshooting, which is app centric, right? Where you can actually take the actions. You can have a application aware infrastructure monitoring. You can actually look at the the infrastructure from the lens of applications, where you can, as the VI admins, when you are talking to your application owners, you can actually talk to them in the same language that they understand. And we provide you that visibility through vROPs, where you can troubleshoot all of those applications as well as infrastructure together from the same place. And then last but not the least, for sure, is the configuration and compliance piece. Most of you would be in the businesses where there are certain regulatory benchmarks or internal IT standards that you need to take care, and you provide you have to generate certain reports. You have to keep uh, uh, your infrastructure running in a compliant manner. All of that functionality is integrated into vROPs, and all these four pillars of functionality or the use cases, they are all powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning underneath. There are powerful engines that provide you all of these functionality. They continue to learn. They learn from the data that is getting collected. So the vROPs that you have deployed, whether it's in cloud or on-prem, that knows your infrastructure the most for you, and it takes the decisions, it shares them with you, it analyzes them, and then you can take the next steps. And again, it doesn't matter where your workloads are running, where your applications are running. They might be running on SDDC itself, or they might be running on public cloud. As long as they are integrated, we are going to analyze them and help you in achieving these use cases. From there, our evolution of the portfolio, as I mentioned, we have recently launched the cloud, and how exactly the journey have been. It is like we gave the first tech preview around last year's VMworld, which was around Q3. And from there, we did beta in Q1. And within Q1 itself, we have made it initially available to all of you. So with 8.1, which was our on-prem release, now you have a choice whether you want to utilize all of those functionalities on-prem or you want to upgrade to the SaaS version of it. All of the features are available, and I will be talking about more. This is more from the timeline perspective. Going forward also, we are going to keep uh, both the releases in parallel. At times, what we will see is that the features, certain features will actually come uh, on cloud first because of two reasons. Number one, that we believe this is the journey where we need to make it exciting for you, where you get the newest features first on cloud, and the second part being that the inherent nature of the cloud development is that you can push the features faster, right? And we can have a larger or a more frequent cadence onto the cloud. So that is what the idea is. But eventually, all of the stuff that we release on cloud will be available onto the on-prem as well. So you have a choice, where do you want to go. With that, our primary themes of investments in last few years have been constant, and we are improving our products around them. For vROPs, primarily, they are that the solution needs to continue to integrate and be more and more intelligent. So you will see that we are adding a lot of machine learning into every release, and we are integrating with various third-party components as well as internal platforms. For example, in SaaS case, I will talk about how we have integrated with the CSP and CMP here. Second part is the easy management, which is primarily all the use cases that you use in vROPs today. They should be easily available to you. They should be intuitive enough where you don't have to struggle too much. It should be, there should be guided tours and certain nudges into the product itself, which tell you what to do in a workflow manner rather than you struggling with it. And the third one is being multi-cloud and application aware. As I mentioned, we are expanding our portfolio from management perspective, where we want to make sure that if you guys are moving your workloads to the public clouds or any other clouds, we should be able to there help you in managing all of those workloads, as well as applications are becoming more and more internal, or I would say central to the whole management, the way the businesses are running, and those applications need to be managed well. You need to make sure that they are available, so that so we are adding those capabilities around application as well. And with that, it is just a call out in case you haven't looked at it. You can actually look at a vROPs Cloud now, which, as I mentioned, it's almost 1 month old now, and you can talk to your TAMs, and you can start your 30-day free test drive and figure out if it is the right approach for you. You can run it in parallel. For example, you are already running your on-prem version or edition there. You can use the similar functionality into cloud, and if you feel that you are ready to take that leap, you just move ahead with that. So this is that particular part. How exactly it is available is like any other service which is provided by VMware. It is one of those new services which have been provided. VMware vRealize Operations Cloud, that is what the name we are keeping it, which is aligned with the other services like Li Cloud and iCloud. And the beautiful part is you don't have to configure these services one by one. As soon as you log into your CSP account, you actually find it available, and you can just go ahead with that and you can try it out. And as I mentioned, because the The team who has built this is the same who had been building vROPs for so many years. Uh, the team is same, the code base is same. That's why you see the feature parity uh, within the first release itself. So it is not that we have done a ground up work. There are lots of hard work which has gone to make it to cloud, but the feature and functionality wise, it is even better from certain aspects. And I will touch upon some of them. As I mentioned, some of the ideas that we have now going forward are going to be cloud first, and then we bring it on. And then, of course, like any other SaaS services, this is fully managed by VMware, so you don't have to manage it. And as I mentioned earlier, there are guided tours included. There are tutorial videos which you can utilize when you are logging into it. And then there is a easy 4-step cloud proxy deployment. Cloud proxy, I'll be talking about it, what exactly this is. Cloud proxy is basically one virtual appliance which gets deployed onto your on-premises. And why that is needed is, as you understand that for collecting the data from your premise, we need to have some instrumentation from there to send that data to vROPs cloud so that it can analyze the data for you and present it to you in that form, because vROPs is not running on your premise now. So for that, you can think or you can imagine it like a remote collector, the way it is running today for you in various on-prem environments. So this cloud proxy, once it is deployed into your environment, it talks to the vCenters, as well as the same cloud proxy has the capability to talk to your virtual machines, where you can install the Telegraph agent and get the application related metrics as well. So the application remote collector component, that is also bundled in. Another thing which is very important from cloud perspective, proxy perspective, is you can combine them into the collector groups for high availability, right? And then if any one particular cloud proxy goes down, it takes care from the availability perspective. Then if you are not, if you are running your, you are a VMC customer, you can actually run it onto the VMC as well. So all of these are two things. One is specifically that it has to, we need a component which is talking to your infrastructure, and the other part is because for sending the data to the cloud, you need to open certain ports, right? And this particular proxy would require only one port, which is needed for you to open to send the data to the cloud, and rest all will be taken care, rather than you opening multiple ports so that you're sending the data to the cloud. From that perspective, that's all about the cloud. Now let's jump into what all from the feature perspective we are doing it. As I mentioned, those 3 pillars, first pillar being the easy CMP, where primarily the idea is first idea which I've spoken about, vROPs cloud. Now it's available to you, including the advanced telemetry, where we understand your behavior of using the product, which workflows you are using more, which dashboard you are using more, and where you are struggling and spending more time and all that kind of things, so that we can improve it further. A second thing that we have done on the easy part is ease of use. As I mentioned, that the certain things which earlier had an opportunity to be improved upon, we have started doing them one by one. In this release, what we have done is, last release you might remember that we introduced the concept of troubleshooting workbench. I'll talk about it in a minute again. But in this one, what we have done is we have improved the whole alert creation workflow, as well as we have introduced the improvements onto the pages when you are creating the dashboard. We have improved your dashboard management, summary pages, and the page navigation. Apart from that, because now we are part of the CSP, the federation between the vROPs cloud and vROPs on-prem is available, as well as now vROPs 8.1 supports PRA 8.1. So this is like more of the integrations where most of the customers actually use both automation and operations together. and they like to use that complete flow where as soon as they deploy their workloads, later they would like to use the operations tool, in this case vROPs, for managing those same workloads. And that's why VRA Cloud talks to vROPs Cloud as well. That's the integration, which is another on-prem to on-prem and cloud to cloud. And similarly, the integration between vROPs Cloud and VRLI Cloud. Second part of our investment, or the big pillar, is about the integrated solutions. As you know, vSphere is our core functionality and data source from the management perspective. And you might have heard the new line of, I would say, functionality as well as business from VMware, as when we announced around Tanzu product line, where within vSphere, you have the capability of deploying the Kubernetes clusters going forward. And that all is available through 7.0, which was recently released in Q1 itself. And we being vROPs, where vSphere is a core component that we collect the data from, we are going to provide, or we are providing you day zero support for those clusters that you can deploy using vSphere 7.0. We have brought VMC as native cloud account. VMC on AWS is, as I mentioned, VMware Cloud, and we have added a workflow for assisting you in the migration. If you want to migrate from the private cloud or data center to VMC, you have that available now in the product. And we know that lots of the customers actually use vROPs for monitoring and troubleshooting their environments. And that is why we emphasize a lot on that area. And then in this release, what we have done is we have added a couple of things related to the alerts notification as well as alert importance. I'll talk about it a bit more. We have added the support for vVols. There's a NOC dashboard, which is supported in vROPs Cloud, as well as we have included the alerts from VRNI. And you have an option to cross launch as well to VRNI from vROPs. Another big use case that the customers use vROPs for is cost and capacity. And as you might have seen in last couple of releases, we integrated with Cloud Health, which is our public cloud offering from for managing the pricing and costing, and we integrate it with the Cloud Health to get all of the costing related stuff, whether it's from public cloud or private cloud or hybrid cloud, so that you can take a better data-based decision, right? And then there are, of course, certain improvements onto the cost drive engine, as well as there is rate card-based pricing for VRA managed objects. Huge improvements on the scale for when it comes to continuous availability. That was one of the features that we released last release, and which is which has actually been proven really well by large customers who are using it, and we have improved the scale on that side, and that is all the platform related work. Onto the application side, as I mentioned, on as well as multi-cloud. So in this release, we have added a capability for doing a credential-less application discovery via VM tools. VM tools, as you know, is a part of every VM that you install through the vCenter, and you have to enable it, of course. And the certain versions of VM tools, which are recently released along with 7.0 and post 7.0, they have the capability of getting the services you are running into your VMs and send it back to vROPs. So far, this functionality was available through SDMP that you might have used in the past, but there you have to provide the credentials for the guest OS. In this case, you don't require it as long as you have the right version of VM tools. Then we started working on the whole application journey since last 2 years, and now we are releasing the APIs, public APIs for doing the complete agent lifecycle management as well as the application configuration. So that all is available in case you have automation in place at your in your infrastructure. You can utilize that for doing the complete LCM. Uh, we have added the physical OS monitoring, which is only in the cloud, and we will bring it to on-prem in upcoming releases. In the multi-cloud side, we have added the support for Google Cloud Platform with this release, and we have enhanced our AWS management pack. Certain improvements onto the management packs, as you know, vROPs is basically a centerpiece where it collects the data from almost any place as long as you have a management pack which can integrate with it. And that's why we continuously improve our management packs which are requested by the customers and which are used extensively. And that is where also, while talking to you guys as well as to collecting the data through the telemetry, it tells us where to focus our energies on. And last couple of integrations around Slack as well as ServiceNow. And we have made all the compliance management packs that we had, we have brought them native so that you don't have to download them from Marketplace and install it. You just go ahead and enable them and they will do the work for you. With that, I'm just going to go deep into each one of these or most of these, I would say, features. So feel free to ask wherever if you have any questions. So this is the one which I was talking about, the simplified alert creation. And this is the troubleshooting workbench, which we released in the last release, where using the events, properties, and metrics, the system actually analyzes that whatever you are trying to troubleshoot or wherever you are seeing the alerts, what are the potential evidences around that? Why is it happening? What events might have occurred into that particular time frame? And what are the property changes that has happened? What metrics anomalies are happening? And it provides you that complete troubleshooting environment. Now, what we are doing is we are extending it to one more level where you actually can create an alert from the workload, from the troubleshooting workbench itself. Where if you see this, you just, if you want to create it on this particular event, you just click on it. It will open a very simple alert definition creation part, and you can create it quickly and save it so that you can further use it. So this is like you don't have to go navigate away and come back to lose the context. This is creating those alerts in context when you're doing it, right? And uh, we have, as I mentioned, that we have simplified the alert definition management itself. So this is the simplest possible wizard that you can see. You just give the name of the alert, you provide the symptoms and drag drop, filter. It's the functionality remains the same. It's just that we have made it much easier, much cleaner, and we have utilized the whole real estate that was available to us, and we have made it sleek from that perspective. And you can, once you create it, you can actually assign it to the policies as well as you can create the notifications in the single flow. So the whole management of the alerts is simplified hugely. Another thing that we have added onto the troubleshooting part is the alert ranking. This is basically alerts are now ranked by importance. And how do we judge the importance, you might ask? First of all, why did we do it? Because at times vROPs has a lot of alerts, and you tend to feel that alert fatigue, and in that particular case, you might miss something important, right? Any important alert which can escape your eyes. And that is where we have improved our system, where it can actually look at each of the alert and figure out how important it is. And based on that, it can rank it higher and it can bring it up. Ranking is given like high, medium, low, and based on that, it will be sorted automatically. How do we judge that? We look at it from the perspective, if it is a if it is an alert which you have on which you have taken an action in the past, we feel that okay, this is important because you care about it on whatever object it has run, or whatever alert it is showing you. The second part it is at times we see an alert which has never been raised, which means this is a very rare condition that is happening in your environment. It has never happened. So even the system does not know what impact it might have. So from that perspective, from that reality perspective, we bring it on the top and show it to you as an high importance. And based on your action after that, we will reduce or increase the importance, and then we will show it. So that's the important feature that has been brought in. And revamped summary pages, as I mentioned. So if you see this is totally new summary pages for all of these objects which are mentioned here: VMs, host, data store, vCenter, everything. And what we are trying to do is we are trying to show you almost everything that is of importance onto the same page, where you can look at the capacity, how it is working, what is the time remaining, capacity remaining, as well as the utilization, how the CPU memory are being consumed by this particular resource, and how is it performing, what is the configuration, what tools are running, what kind of hardware it is, what network, everything, as well as the metadata. Because metadata is very important when you are using tags and everything, right, from that perspective. So all of these objects have new summary pages, and going forward also we are going to keep the summary pages enhanced with for other objects also. In this release, it is only for the vSphere objects which are listed here. A lot of improvement onto the dashboard management. You can search now. So it's a simple text search, even though but the simple features are generally difficult. So that's why it is available now. If you just search on anything, if it will show you all the dashboards which have that kind of a string. And the navigation, you can actually drag and drop your dashboards order, whatever you're looking at. And you can see this third part, which is improved onto the management side, that this shared icon will show you that the dashboard you are at, you have shared it with somebody, so that when you are trying to delete it or you are trying to make some modifications, you can think about it that, okay, this has been shared, let me talk to the stakeholders first, right? So those kind of things which are available, we have made it even more collaborative stuff now. Coming to the Tanzu, which I spoke about, where the whole vSphere 7.0. So this the Tanzu Kubernetes vSphere, which was internally known as Project Pacific, we have integrated with that from the day zero. What it does basically, in a nutshell, is it provides you the ability to basically to the developers to deploy the guest clusters, guest Kubernetes clusters, which can be deployed. And then there is a concept of namespace, which is going to be the management unit from an application perspective, right? So when the developers are trying to create their applications, they just deploy their clusters, which can be deployed on VMs or the native ports. It's up to them. And the supervisor cluster actually is going to help them into managing that. This is all onto the vSphere side. What it means for us as VI admins is basically we want to make sure that whatever is being deployed or whatever is being running, what is running is we are able to monitor that. So we are bringing all of these constructs using both of these adapters, one being a container management pack and one being the vSphere adapter, which is native. Both of them jointly get us all of the data that is needed to monitor your infrastructure. How do we do it? We bring all the workload management related stuff into vROPs, where it gets you from the native clusters. It gets you supervisor clusters, namespaces, vSphere ports, as well as Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, right? And we have added the summary pages, as you have seen from the vSphere uh, perspective, which I just shared. Similar summary pages have been added for the newer constructs. All of these are new constructs because they are the first time being released into vSphere, so we are bringing them over. You can do the capacity forecasting using, again, onto the same powerful engine, which helps you in doing that management onto the VM-based clusters. This is doing the same thing for the Kubernetes-based clusters. And of course, there are new dashboards, reports, and views. I'll be talking about them. This is how we have integrated. And then it gets you the full line of sight into the upstream Kubernetes, which means that if your workloads are running onto the native Kubernetes cluster, which is not non-vSphere, uh, that all is collected using Kubernetes, and we show you the complete infrastructure and hierarchy here in relation with the other infrastructure where it is running. For example, if it is running on vSphere, but it is not vSphere 7.0, all that link or line of sight is available to you. And even if they are running on the public clouds, we bring them over to you. This is the complete picture from the application till your vCenter servers, till VMs, as well as the AG on the Kubernetes nodes, pods, as well as containers. The complete line of sight, and this is from a working vROPs 8.1 session, and that all is available. You can see, you can build it into vROPs. On top of it, we have certain dashboards, as I was mentioning. This is the workload platform inventory, where all the summary around supervisor clusters, hosts, namespaces, clusters, everything is available, as well as the relationships and the major KPIs and the various information related to the components which are making part of your workload management inventory. So everything into one place so that you can actually monitor and troubleshoot them. Second part, we have gone to the VMware Cloud on AWS. As I mentioned earlier, we had only Azure, AWS, and vCenter as a cloud accounts. Now VMC is also part of it. What that means is basically you get to authenticate using the CSP token, as well as the same account can be used for managing multiple SDDCs, and all of those bills that get generated through VMC, they come in, and we analyze them side by side with your other public clouds or private clouds that you're running. And all of this is natively available now. You just can, as I mentioned, multiple SDDC you can monitor, you can configure. And of course, there are multiple dashboards which are available as a part of this integration, where you can monitor and track your NSX edge and router related stuff, which will be getting the data from VMC directly using NSX T management pack, as well as you can monitor the key CPU memory related metrics, again available through the dashboards. Then you can track the capacity trends, as well as you can look at which are the VMs which are more talkative or consuming resources, and how to manage them. From that perspective, then moving on to, so VMC is our hybrid cloud, as you know. Moving on to the public clouds with our multi-cloud strategy, you have now GCP as well. And all of these cloud account types that you can see, they all are converged from the costing perspective using Cloud Health. And you can have all of that public cloud cost overview in the same manner for all these three clouds. And you can then take the decisions where you want to run your workloads. And the Google Cloud objects, which we are bringing in, are regions billing accounts projects and cloud projects. And as we are for the first time, we are releasing Google Cloud Platform Management Pack. These are the ones which we are supporting from the services perspective. There are like, of course, Compute Engine, BigQuery, Cloud VPN, and the content, because what makes a particular integration very powerful is all about the content that we are delivering along with it. So there are 7 dashboards and a lot of alerts which will help you in troubleshooting your environment. Uh, this is the Google Cloud Platform Management Pack was the new one, and here AWS one is the older one which we have improved. There are new AWS objects. So what we do here is we try to keep it up to date with the cloud provider itself. So whenever they launch it into a new region or they add a new object, we try to enhance our management packs so that you can continue to upgrade, you can continue to use and utilize those within vROPs as well as onto the cloud which you are using. Uh, Onboarding the ARC, which is Application Remote Collector. Now, as I mentioned, it is part of the Cloud Proxy, and you do not require 2 separate instances. You just need Cloud Proxy, which has all of the ARC components. It will just continue to collect your OS and application data. And as soon as you install or you configure vCenter Cloud account, it actually is ready for installing the agents so that you can start monitoring them. We have added the physical servers or OS monitoring, as I mentioned, where you can monitor Windows and Linux OSs, which if they are running onto physical hardware, because we understand certain legacy applications still require a physical hardware, and it takes time to move them to the virtual platforms or to the public clouds. So for that, we are continuing to support, and this is available onto the cloud only. And this provides the parity with vPOps and Hyper-V. So some of you might be using those functionalities here, and this is targeted for future release for on-prem. As I mentioned, some of the things are going to be cloud first going forward, and we are starting from this release itself from that perspective. The integration with the vRLI, as I mentioned, because we all of these products are now in cloud, so they can seamlessly integrate with each other. And logs, as we all know, that they are the most important component when it comes to the last mile troubleshooting. So what we have done is we are bringing all of those logs in context to the object that you are troubleshooting into vROPs itself, and then you can launch into the full capabilities of vRLI at the launch of a single button click from vROPs cloud. So cloud to cloud, very seamlessly integrated. You won't even feel whether you are going from one page to another, one dashboard to another, or one service to another. So that is the kind of integration we have. Support for vVols. As you know, vVols are becoming de facto standards. So these are natively represented as arrays going forward. They're part of the complete infrastructure discovery now, and they are extending the SPBM or storage policy-based management to the storage ecosystem. And I'm just going a bit fast. I know specifically I want to leave like at least 5 minutes for Q&A in the end. So if you feel I'm going too fast, just let me know. With that, SDDC Management Pack, which is primarily SDDC Health, where we try to show you the complete infrastructure health in one single dashboard or multiple dashboards rather through one management pack. That has been improved upon to support the VRA 8.1 CAS. What it means is basically the VRA CAS 8.1 version, as I mentioned earlier, on-prem to on-prem, they are integrating, and this management pack is going to give you the health of all the components which are running underneath that particular product, or all of these products that you can see onto the screen, be it CAS, vCenter, vRLI, vROPs, or vSAN. right? And in this one, we have added 40 plus CAS health services, which actually tell you, looking at each one of them, they tell you whether your CAS deployment is running fine or not. Then another management pack which was requested by a lot of customers is SNMP management pack, where you can actually now monitor any of the SNMP enabled devices. We support two versions of SNMP, V2C and V3, which are the most prevalent ones. This management pack can actually do the auto discovery based on the selected MIPS, or you can actually import the additional MIPS also. Right here, if you see the way it gets included, provide the IP range, you provide the MIP file, and it'll do the auto discovery for the devices which have that MIP running there. And these are the configurations from version perspective. So whatever is needed for version 3, uh, of course, because of the privacy protocols and authentication, it is, and that is the reason it's a bit more secure. It requires more configuration than V2C. An SXT management pack that was primarily enhanced for VMC use cases, where so that you can actually get the metrics or the data coming from VMC, so you can look at the network, how exactly it is behaving for all the workloads that are running into VMC, right? And of course, it has a support for policy manager APIs along with it. One more big, I would say, integration that we have done in this release is we have integrated with VRNI, and uh, majorly it is because we already had metrics, properties, events, logs, but the network information was limited, and it was all dependent on the third-party management packs. And VRNI, being our in-house product from CMBU itself, it knows network much better than anyone else. So we get the alerts, primarily whatever is generated onto the VRNI side. We show them here in context, and in case you see that there are some alerts which are coming from VRNI, and you can actually jump onto it, you can launch in context and do the troubleshooting on VRNI side as well. Certain enhancements on the capacity planning, as I mentioned, the migration planning use case for VMC. If you want to just plan how will it, how much will it cost you if you are moving your workloads to VMC, this particular migration planning will help you. You can adjust your discounts, you can change your plans, you can provide additional configuration, and then take a call whether you would like to move your workloads or you want to keep them where they are running. A couple of more cost-related improvements onto the cost drivers, as well as additional dashboards, and one of the and certain reports. One of the things that we have improved on is onto the custom server batches, where we understand when we procure certain servers, they come in batches. We rarely go with one by one, right? So if we know and if we want to utilize that information, that okay, this bunch was purchased on this date, on this price, this is how it is, deprecating and all that, so that you can plan it much better rather than doing one by one. You can actually calculate it in batches. So that whole planning for capacity and cost uh, is easy for you. Integration with VRA 8.1, getting the data around the deployment prices. That is one of the major rate card based integration that we have, where whatever is running onto the VR or whatever is deployed through VRA, and we know the deployment price over the period of time, we collect it, show it into the dashboard, and that gets rolled over to the daily price estimates as well. And that is majorly for ensuring, in case you want to charge back or in case you want to show back to your line of businesses based on whatever workloads they are running. Some of the platform enhancements going forward, it is going to be a single pack file update. So you might have seen that in the past we had 2 pack files. Now it is only single pack file upgrade. One major enhancement or another one is that you don't have to come to any other previous version to upgrade to 8.1. We can come to 8.1 from any of the supported versions now. So you don't have to do a step-by-step upgrade. You can just directly come to 8.1. Another very small but important enhancement is about the dialog box having the edition that, okay, which particular edition you're licensed for, because at times what happens is it's a shared instance, and at times we don't know which functionalities are available, which are not. We think that we should have application monitoring while we have the license, which is advanced. So that gets into the escalations, and then we figure out. So we made it simple so that you can actually figure out what you're entitled for. And then cluster CA status that is available in product UI now. So CA is continuous availability, as I mentioned earlier. So you have this cluster role available, whether it's a master replica or a witness node. REST API updates, because vROPs is center for integration. You can do a lot of integrations and automation. So we continue to provide various API updates. In this one, as I mentioned, one big ticket item was the agent lifecycle management APIs, which we have provided. Apart from that, there are a couple of more around basic authentication, as well as get action status for a particular task ID. And you can bring your cluster online, offline using Casa API. This is just a quick flash. I'll just leave it on for 30 seconds so that you now see that the kind of powerful release we have just had, and it is really feature rich. We are taking the whole vROPs to the next level with every release, and we are really thankful to all of you to continue to use it and make it better by your feedback and showing this interest that you have. And with that, Nitin, a quick time check. Should we go into the roadmap, or should we start taking the questions if there are any?
Yeah, Mohit. So we have a lot of open questions on the Q&A, though John has tried answering most of the questions, but there are still some open questions if you want to answer right now.
We can take it.
Yeah, so there are a lot of questions around vROPs licensing, how licensing would work for vROPs cloud instance. Can they use the same license, or it's going to be a subscription-based licensing?
Yeah, so these are all going to be like any other cloud service. These are going to be a subscription-based licensing. But having said that, because you guys are existing customers, there are certain promotions and there are certain things. It's again based on what kind of workloads or what is the volume that you're looking at. But it is definitely going to be subscription-based. We have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year commitment kind of thing. If you are very interested, we can actually do a follow-up session only on vROPs Cloud, including licensing. So if you can show that interest through Nitin, and maybe we can have a follow-up with the demo along, how exactly it is looking. If you have specific use cases you want to see, we can actually talk about that.
Sure, Mike. We will take the feedback from the customers.
Yeah, but in short, this is subscription-based. It is going to be subscription-based.
Okay. So the second question was vROPs Cloud, does it run on AWS, or it is our own cloud, separate SaaS offering? Where does it run?
Yeah, it runs on AWS.
AWS, okay. And this is VMC on AWS or AWS native?
It is AWS native.
Okay. Does Cloud Health, can Cloud Health be used for on-prem costing? I think with the integration of Cloud Health with vROPs, I think we can do
you can do it, or you can do it within vROPs, but you cannot do it in Cloud Health. So the power that we are bringing in with Cloud Health integration is because we already know the private cloud cost. We are getting the public cloud cost through Cloud Health, and we show you that together in the same view so that you can actually take the better decisions.
Okay. So there is one more interesting question. Where do we configure pricing for VMs? Would it be in vRA or vROPs? I think they have both the options. They can either do in vRA or
As
in
well as
vROPs,
here.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I see EPOPs is still available for download. Can we install it on vRA 8.1? If yes, will it auto discover and enable monitoring services on vRA and components like Postgres databases?
Yes, so EPOPs is supported even for 8.1, and most likely it will be available for 8.2 as well. Uh, we have announced the intent to EOL it in Q1, so it is available, very much supported. Feel free to download it, but I would strongly recommend to go Telegraph route in case you do not find that. Yeah, if you do not, you are not able to fulfill your use case, then you should go to EPOPs. Otherwise, our future direction is towards Telegram.
Okay. So Mohit, there is a lot of there are a lot of feedback around data collection time. So right now it is 5 minutes. Do we have any plans to change it to sub 1 minute?
Yes, give me 3 minutes. You'll see that slide.
Perfect.
Knew it.
Any changes in the admin UI that you want to highlight?
No, there's
The
not
same.
much from, yeah, it's the only one which was there, which I just shared with the this one.
Right.
That's about it.
Okay. And does the cloud version of vROP support ServiceNow integration out of the box?
Mm, yes.
Perfect. Again, a feedback. Hope the API documentation is more informative and better from the previous releases.
So we are continuously evolving in that space. If you have any specific feedback, we would love to hear that. But otherwise, whatever feedback we get, we try to improve upon it release after release.
Okay. Is
Yep.
Tanzu Kubernetes part of VCF only? I think this question is for CPBU or MapBU. What I know is I think it is part of VCF only as of now.
It is part of VCF only. Yeah, so they're working on certain licensings,
Right.
but as of now, it's VCF only.
Last two questions. Does the container management pack support vRA 8.1 Kubernetes layer monitoring?
So from container monitoring management pack, it doesn't matter from us, which is the platform which has deployed the cluster. If you remember that, that Kubernetes clusters, as long as we are able to talk to Kubernetes cluster master,
Pods.
yeah, the master, we just need
Master. Okay.
right? Once it is deployed, we just continue to collect. After that, whether this is being deployed by any in-house tool or VRA or maybe OpenShift, we don't care as long as we are able to talk to the cluster. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. What is the use case to integrate VRLI with vROPs other than single pane of class management?
So primarily the way we look at it is because operations is to ensure that your application and infrastructure are running perfectly fine without any hitches, right? And at times, because we don't live in the ideal world, there are times you have downtime onto network, storage, compute, anything, right? Anything can happen. And one of the I can take that example. A couple of years back, or maybe more than that, one of the big customer, they had a outage into the network, and that particular alert was not configured into vROPs, and it took almost a week for them to figure out where exactly it went and what exactly happened. And by the time, because I think VRNI was not part of the game at that time. So those are the use cases when you know that, okay, when you're troubleshooting a particular object, maybe a VM, maybe an application, you always, your last resource, if metrics are not helping, events are not helping, properties are not helping, your last resort is logs. And logs are really powerful, that we all know that, when it comes to troubleshooting, that is what is, really helpful. So from both of these perspectives, we know what is the network flow that is happening. For example, chat EVMs, they are consuming the complete bandwidth. And because of that, there is an alert. That alert is coming on a VM. That VM is part of your, very critical production application. And you are already getting a call from the application owner that, my application is running slow. Can you look at it? And you see that, the network uh, packets are dropping. For that, you already have an alert. As well as, when you look at it, there might be some CPU spikes, and you see that that is mentioned in the source. There are various use cases. It's primarily around giving you troubleshooting capabilities more than anything else.
Okay, thank you, Mohit. Yeah,
Okay.
Mohit, I think we can continue with the roadmap slide.
Okay. Yes, I'll, even though I have one meeting, I'll just continue.
Sure.
Yeah. So one very quick thing, I'll just spend 5 minutes into this whole area. And one of the things that, as I mentioned, right, the application is becoming more and more central to the whole management. And that is why we are investing a lot onto it. We are making it really first class citizen, where you can actually uh, plan your compliance, capacity, migration, everything around application. And you can get your applications into vROPs using various APM tools, whatever you are using already, right? Like Dynatrace, Datadog, App Dynamics, New Relic, all of those we are going to integrate with, get those applications so that you can troubleshoot them better. You know where they are, what applications are running into your infrastructure, and you have a better management of your infrastructure. Another thing, we will continue to enhance our public cloud support. We are going to make a management pack, all of these management packs native, and improve upon their dashboards, various use cases, how they integrate. And of course, another part is, if there are certain components which are running into those clouds, which are part of your application, that is where, it will become even more powerful, right? So really integrated story for you from operations perspective. This is enhancement onto the AWS side. This is the one question that I said I'll talk about. We are working on this. One thing we are doing today is, of course, there's a 5-minute interval that you can go up to 1-minute interval. And the reason being is that, we get the data from vSphere itself in 20 seconds, right? That 20-second first cut for us is okay, make it near real time, which is okay. And we get that data within 20 seconds, whatever is being generated at vSphere. And on top of it, the vSphere team, they are working on a thing called vStats, where they are going to publish the data or metrics within 1 second. So every second data will be available. And we are, in the long term, we are actually looking at that also, so that you actually get it real time, not only near real time. So it's step by step. Near real time will come, of course, in near future, and real time will be next, right after that. So we are working on that. And I didn't put it after getting the question. Yeah. So the policies, yes, as I mentioned, the alerts are simplified in this release. Next release, we are going to make sure that you get very simplified policies where you can define them really quickly, put them into alerts. You can add them, assign them to the various custom groups and you see what all is where all those are applicable or they have been applied to, right? This kind of simplification, not only into the creation, but also into the visualization, which all policies you have already created and where they are running. And last but not the least is scheduled automated jobs, where if you are building a particular job, you want to add the filter criteria, various filter criteria, and want to keep it up to date, and then put the task, okay, what to do when something of this sort happens, define those scopes in a better manner. You can actually include, exclude based on various criteria, again, really powerful stuff that we are building so that you can manage your downtimes better and response better in case of any issue that happens. Unfortunately, no demo. So yeah, we are running out of time. Questions, I believe we have taken. If we have more questions, I can spare 2 more minutes before I jump
Sure.
into it.
So Mohit, there is a question around vROPs Cloud again. So the question is, if the customer goes for vROPs Cloud, since it is on native AWS, does the customer also have to pay for the ingress and the egress traffic?
So that one, I'll get back to you how exactly that pricing happens. I don't want to give a wrong answer here.
Right. And the other question is, does vROPs monitor VRA licenses, like license consumed versus licenses left, especially for VRA?
And we do not do that. And that is one request we get it not only from VRA perspective.
Yeah, it is for all the products, right?
Yes, yeah, because of the license compliance. That's a different story altogether. So yeah.
Okay. Anything on the new actions that we have added as part of intelligent remediation in vROPs 8.1?
In 8.1, there is no new action actually.
It's the same as 7.8.0 version. Okay.
Yeah.
But we have a seamless integration with vRO now, right?
Yes, that we added last release itself. So there's
Okay.
nothing new from 8.1 perspective.
Perfect. I think we have answered all the questions. So I think we are good. Thank you very much, Mohit. Thank you for this great
Thank you.
session.
Thanks
Thank you
for
everyone for
together.
attending this webinar. Yeah.
Thank you, John, for taking care of the questions.
Looks like John had to leave because he had another meeting.
Okay, done.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you.
Do get in touch
Bye.
with your TAMs to get the recording for this. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.